$75 trillion. That's the value of known natural resources the most resource-rich country in the world sits on. Water, gold, minerals, oil, gas, and fertile soil. Natural resource-rich nations have the ability to harness their resources, export them, or keep others from obtaining them. Natural resources can be used by nations as political leverage to negotiate trade agreements, concessions, and bargains. An oversimplified illustration would be if country Y uses a river that flows from country X as a source of fresh water. Country X might construct a dam to cut off country Y's freshwater supply. Resources can be exploited in this way to increase one's power and influence over others. Unfortunately, many resources-rich nations suffer from the resource curse or the paradox of plenty. This will become apparent as we delve into our top 10 list. First up is Venezuela, a South American nation with the world's greatest known oil reserves. It also has an abundance of natural gas and iron ore. Unfortunately for the average citizen, Venezuela has never been able to capitalize on its natural resources due to the government mismanagement, corruption, and populist policies. The country became so reliant on oil exports that when global oil prices began to fall, the country's income drastically fell, causing the state-run oil companies to struggle. The government decided to print more money, which in turn led to hyperinflation. This has pushed millions of ordinary citizens into poverty, and many have and are still fleeing the country to escape the economic hardship. In the 9th position, we find Iraq, a country rich in natural resources, particularly oil and natural gas. Like Venezuela, Iraq is endowed with a substantial amount of these valuable commodities, and again, like Venezuela, has struggled to fully capitalize on its potential due to a myriad of challenges that have plagued the nation over the years. The devastating effects of prolonged conflicts have left deep scars on the country's infrastructure and economy. The aftermath of wars has created an unstable environment that hinders effective governance and economic development. Furthermore, government corruption has siphoned off much-needed funds that could have been invested in the nation's growth and stability. Additionally, the presence of terrorist organizations has further complicated the situation, creating an atmosphere of fear and insecurity that stifles investment and discourages both local and foreign enterprises from operating in the region. As a result, Iraq, despite its vast reserves of oil and natural gas, has not been able to harness these resources to foster economic prosperity and improve the living conditions of its citizens. In 8, it's a trip down under. Australia has a lot of a lot. Oil, gas, precious metals, coal, lots of coal. In fact, Australia is the largest coal exporter in the world. Australia has had a more stable government than the aforementioned nations and has therefore been able to capitalize on their natural resources, leading to an extremely high standard of living and a country where many from around the world aspire to move to. In 7th is Brazil. Brazil is rich in many natural resources such as oil, gold, iron, uranium, and timber. Deforestation in Brazil from timber logging has had a profound impact on the landscape. Approximately 17% of the Amazon rainforest has been deforested. Brazil's government continues to come under scrutiny from other nations. The Brazilian government has not been idle, and deforestation rates have reduced dramatically in the last 3 to 4 years. At 6, it's China. China is rich in coal and rare earth metals and has 10% of the world's arable land, which sounds a lot until you realize that China has nearly 20% of the world's population. Despite being rich in natural resources, China still relies heavily on imports to keep its huge population and industrial manufacturing wheels turning. China imports most of its oil from Russia and Iran. Into the top 5 we have the Persian powerhouse Iran. It's well documented that Iran sits on plenty of oil, but it's less well known that Iran is also rich in copper, chromium, zinc, sulfur. The list is endless. Due to the Iranian government's alleged support of pro-Islamic terrorist organizations and nuclear program, the United States and allied nations have over the years enforced numerous embargoes and sanctions on Iran, preventing Iran being able to export to its full capacity. This has, however, had fluctuating effects in Iran, which has generally been able to operate with little impact to its economy. At 4 is Canada. Canada is behind only Saudi Arabia and Venezuela when it comes to oil reserves, and is also rich in a variety of industrial minerals such as limestone, rock salt, and gypsum. Much like Australia, Canada has been able to harness the true benefits of being a resource-rich nation and is extremely wealthy as a result. It also helps that the logistics of exporting these natural resources to prospective trade partners is simple, as the richest country in the world lives next door. Into the top 3, we have Saudi Arabia. Unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know the Saudis are blessed with an abundance of oil. That's not all, though. Saudi Arabia is also brimming with sulfur, phosphate, and tungsten. Natural resources have transformed this part of the world beyond anything recognizable just a century ago. Now, major cities have sprung up where before there was little but tribal villages. At 2, it's Uncle Sam. The United States of America. The United States' volume and variety of natural resources has played a huge part in why this country is the most powerful nation on Earth. Coal, oil, natural gas, gold. The United States has it all. Mix this all together with the fact the land itself is easily navigable, and you see exactly why the United States is just so well off. In top spot, and maybe no surprise given the fact it's a country that covers 11% of the world's landmass, Russia. Russia is packed with over an estimated value of $75 trillion worth of natural resources. As touched on in our previous video, Russia uses its resources for political means. Traditionally, Russia has been able to export its resources to the wealthy continent of Europe. However, due to the invasion of Ukraine, Russia is now more reliant on exports to China and India. It's clear that just having a lot of natural resources doesn't automatically make a country wealthy or prosperous. The connection between what resources a country has and its economic success is complicated and depends on many different factors. That said, if you have the choice, having more natural resources is better than having less. These valuable materials are important in the global economy and can greatly influence how a country is viewed around the world, almost like pieces on a chessboard. However, managing these resources effectively and sustainably is no easy task. It's often easier said than done. Countries face a lot of challenges, like political issues, economic mistakes, environmental worries, and social inequalities, which can all get in the way of making the most of their natural wealth. So, while having resources can lay a solid groundwork for development, the real trick is figuring out how to use, manage, and make the most of them for the benefit of everyone and to help ensure long-term prosperity. Which of these nations did you least expect to make this list? Be sure to let us know below. We hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe for more content.